You're telling the American people that the American Medical Association, representing hundreds of thousands of people, have been co-opted and that they should not trust their doctors?
Yes!
Bernie has said that.
Yes, you haven't learned anything from COVID? Come see me on tour in Appleton, Wisconsin, Rosemont, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Louisville, Fort Wayne, Hermosa Beach, Sacramento, San Francisco, Irvine. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Bernie Sanders got a chance to do his best acting work. It was fantastic. He was interviewing RFK or whatever at a hearing before the Senate Finance Committee. And listen to the garbage Bernie Sanders is saying. If you thought Bernie Sanders was a garbage person, you ain't seen nothing yet. Watch this. Everything about Bernie Sanders is phony, is fake. He's there to make sure the two-party duopoly stays firmly in place. He's there to make sure we don't have a workers' revolution. He's there to make sure we don't overthrow the oligarchy. He's there to make sure that people with revolutionary spirits are sheep-herded right back into a pro-war, anti-worker party that it bends the knee to big pharma, big oil, big tech, big insurance, and the military-industrial complex. That's what Bernie's there to do. Everything about Bernie Sanders is fake and phony, and I lost over half my audience when I told them that. And I told them that in 2016. I told them that in 2016, that Bernie Sanders is a fake and a phony, and I lost half my audience. I went on to lose the other half of my audience when I said that about AOC. But
everybody's MAGA. Everybody has the same like MAGA thing of like, are you loyal to MAGA still?
Right.
It don't matter if it's Hillary or Bernie or AOC or
so
Zinfandel Mamadami.
And so of course there are people like pedophile defenders like Michael Tracy who will say that I'm audience captured.
The Phoebophile. I believe it's a Phoebophile, which I believe Michael Tracy might be if you look at it.
Yes. But he'll tell you I'm audience captured, even though time and time again I've gone against my own audience and lost half my audience and had to replace them with people who think more clearly. People who are Bernie Sanders fans do not watch my show anymore. People who are AOC fans do not watch my show anymore.
Who is still a fan of them?
I've turned my audience over several times. Okay, so here we go.
President Trump, who I don't usually agree with, called COVID vaccines, quote, one of the greatest miracles in the history of modern-day medicine that saved tens of millions of lives worldwide. Scientific community agrees with Trump. Lancet study found that it prevented.
So no matter how, so Bernie Sanders has learned nothing about COVID. Bernie Sanders has not learned that they lied about the virus, that Fauci lied to Congress about funding the creation of the virus, that the virus came from a Wuhan lab, not a wet market, that they called you a racist if you said so. He doesn't know that they lied about herd immunity. He doesn't know that they lied about natural immunity. He doesn't know they lied about the vaccine stopping contraction or transmission. They don't know that they lied about lockdowns. He doesn't know that they lied about masks. He doesn't know that they lied about everything in the world to do with COVID. He doesn't know that. He still thinks it's fantastic and a big success.
Almost 20 million deaths during their first year of use. Secretary Kennedy, are President Trump and the medical community right, or do you still believe that the COVID vaccine was, quote, the deadliest vaccine ever made?
Bernie, did you get your 14th booster? Because that's what you're supposed to be on right now. Oh, at some point you stopped? At some point you stopped listening to everybody? You stopped listening to all the medical organizations and the CDC and Fauci and the FDA? And even Chris Cuomo? You don't even listen to Chris Cuomo? Cuomo. Fredo?
No, first of all, I didn't say that. Oh, I said that in terms of affairs reports a while ago. I said today, I think that President Trump should get the Nobel Prize.
So who's right? Is Trump in the medical community right, or are you right?
President Trump did an extraordinary piece of leadership.
Is he right or wrong? did COVID save millions of lives?
I'm asking you a nuanced question and demand a yes or no answer, which does not apply, but I'm doing it forcefully because I'm revealing that I have actually been merely a petty bully this entire time. Yes or no?
As I said, he got Americans back to work. At that time, that particular vaccine was perfectly matched to the virus that was circulating then. And I have no idea how many lives it saved, but it saved quite a few.
You know, what I find a little bit weird in this discussion, I'm hearing it over and over again this morning, Mr. Chairman, is we've got the entire medical community on one side. You got the AMA representing hundreds of thousands of doctors.
You don't have the entire medical community on one side. You had the Great Barrington Declaration, which was signed by thousands and thousands of doctors. The guy who invented the mRNA vaccine technology was not on board for this. Peter McCullough, one of the most cited guys in medical journals in history of medicine, was not on board. And then you called it Jay Bhattacharya, who's now the head of the, what is he the head of now? What is he the head of? The NIA? Is it?
NIH.
Yes. The NIH, the National Institute of Health. He was not on board for it. The guy who was the head of the So, no, that's not
it's
true.
Like climate change. Oh, the all science agree. No, they don't.
No, they don't. You ever hear about Climate Gate?
American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Public Health Association.
Yeah, and all those organizations are in the pocket of Big Pharma. And you know how they do that? They get the president of each medical board and they buy him off. That's how it's done. They're all paid for. Just like all the medical journals that we learned through COVID, that the medical journals, like the Lancet, like the BMJ, they're all corrupted by Big Pharma money. All of them. That's why they were able to pull off COVID the way they did.
All of these organizations are telling us that COVID vaccine and vaccines in general are safe and effective. You are casting doubt on that. Who are who are the organizations that are?
I would say, so RFK blows this answer. He should have said, how about the Cleveland Clinic study, which showed that the COVID vaccine had negative efficacy, that the more COVID vaccines you got, the more likely you would become sick from COVID. How about that? He didn't say this. I don't know how he got caught flat-footed on this, but he did.
Are agreeing with you and casting aspersions on vaccines.
The primary advisors are Marty McCary, Jay Bhattacharya, Dr. Oz, Vinay Prasad.
So you got a few doctors who agree with you, and I'm giving you the
Not
name.
a few doctors. What you're talking about is there's a big difference, Senator, between established science and the scientific establishment, which has been co-opted by the pharmaceutical industry.
So you're telling the American people that the American Medical Association, representing hundreds of thousands of people, have been co-opted and that they should not trust their doctors?
Yes!
Bernie has said that.
Yes, you haven't learned anything from COVID? No, he hasn't. In fact, Bernie Sanders actually knows better. Bernie Sanders is a garbage person liar. He's a garbage person, and he was given a directive by the head of the party, whoever that is right now, the Democratic Party, to go do this.
Well, Jimmy, I don't know. Look, I told you I believe them Jennifer Guskin allegations about Bernie because he behaves like someone that story would be true about to me.
And I'm
the American Academy of Pediatrics, and by the way, just for the record, every single Republican, I don't mean to be political here, Mr. Chairman, has received PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. Are they all corrupt as well?
Yes.
I'm telling you, the American heart is...
Bernie's whole message is that government is co-opted by corporations and oligarchy. We live in an oligarchy, not a democracy. That's his whole message. And now he's flipping it on his head so he could try to dunk on RFK Jr., who wants regular safety testing. All he wants is regular safety testing for vaccines. That's all he wants. He wants to have vaccines tested against a placebo. If you want to give a kid 6 vaccines at once, he wants that tested. Is that okay to give a kid vaccines, multiple vaccines at one time? Is it okay to give a kid 72 vaccines before he's 18? That's what he wants to look. He wants actual science done, which they've never done against a placebo. Bernie Sanders knows that, Bernie Sanders is evil.
This is all shit that should have been done.
This is all stuff that, of course, and that's why
You're arguing now?
And that's why they need a vaccine shield. They need a litigation shield. The only product in the history of the world that you can't sue if you get injured by is a vaccine. Drug companies make lots of drugs that injure people. They don't have a shield to that. Okay, here we go. Watch it. Here watch what happens.
Everybody but you, Senator. But you know what? When you ran for president, we have a corrupt campaign finance system. Maybe you will agree with me on that. Okay, you were already president. You had $1.5 billion behind it. You received $300,000 from people, not from the industry, people in it, as I did, from individuals. You corrupt. President Trump got $3 million. Every Republican got corporate PAC money for the pharmaceutical industry. Democrats as well. Everybody is corrupt, but you?
Yes. Yes,
Dude,
everybody is corrupted by Big Pharma, Bernie. You're one of the people running around the country saying that. And now, when it suits you to go against RFK for political reasons, you flip your message on its head. Of course, we all know Big Pharma corrupts everybody, just like APEC has everybody corrupted in our government. You're the one who's telling everybody this.
He's getting worked up. What do they have him doing on tape that he's getting emotional about a thing he knows is a lie like that?
How much pharma money does it take to buy this Emmy-worthy performance from that hollow marionette of Bernie Sanders?
No, money can't buy that. You got to have a tape of something.
You got to have a tape,
that out of him.
They're threatening to put his wife in jail. They're threatening to put his kid in jail. They're threatening to put him in jail. That's what this is. Okay, hey, watch. There's more. Watch this.
Is that what we're looking at? I don't think so. And I think the issue now...
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, I think you do know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The issue is every time anyone disagrees with you...
Are you saying the pharmaceutical industry was supporting my presidential campaign?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying the pharmaceutical industry is a greedy...
Oh, no? So you're saying that they control everybody else, but not RFK. It seems like you keep messing up your message.
Senator, we're not talking about Israel. We're talking about the pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
Institution which is charging us the highest prices in the world. They are pervasive. But to suggest that every institution, the AMA, the pediatrics people, is corrupt because they disagree with you is an insult to the American people.
No, they're corrupt because they take their money. That's why they're corrupt. Just like the senators that you just pointed out. They're all corrupt. Like when you go on your tour with AOC and you talk about how corrupt the government is because they all take corporate money. And we live in an oligarchy and not a democracy. And then he's just flipping it on his head. There is no greater piece of tape. There's no greater example of what a garbage person Bernie Sanders is than this.
And people disagree with me all the time. I have arguments in my agency, heated arguments every day with Jay Bhattacharya, with Marty McCary, with Dr. Oz.
You have given the names of a few people. I have given you the names of organizations representing hundreds of thousands of doctors and scientists.
The organizations that everybody lost confidence in, the CDC, the FDA, the AMA, the Pediatrics Association, the medical journals. Everybody has lost confidence in them because they all lied about ivermectin. They lied about hydroxychloroquine. They lied about the vaccine stopping contraction and transmission. They lied about lockdowns. They lied about masks. They lied about the origin of the virus. They lied about funding the virus. They lied about herd immunity. They lied about natural immunity. Those are the things they didn't lie. They all lied about it in unison. That's the power of Big Pharma. And he knows this.
I yield, Mr. President.
Yeah, of course you yield. And so there he is touting the efficacy of the COVID vaccine. Here's Bill Gates, a guy who made $500 million off the COVID vaccine. Here's what he had to say after he cashed in his money and made $500 million off the COVID vaccine. Here's what he had to say about the COVID vaccine and the COVID virus, that the COVID virus wasn't dangerous. And here we go. Oh, wait.
It wasn't until early February when I was in a meeting that experts at the foundation said, there's no way, there's been too much travel without diagnosis for us to contain this.
So what he's trying to say here is that, we could never contain COVID because there was too much travel without diagnosis. Not that the vaccine didn't work in the way they said it did. It was because there was too much travel. Here we go. Watch this.
And then at that point, we didn't really understand the fatality rate. We didn't understand that it's a fairly low fatality rate and that it's a disease mainly of the elderly, kind of like flu is, although a bit different than that. So that was pretty scary period.
So what he's saying is that turns out COVID wasn't deadly. COVID was not a deadly virus. It only affected the elderly and people with comorbidities, just like the flu, but a little different. Bernie Sanders is sitting there screaming about how the vaccine saved all the lives. Here's Bill Gates saying, yeah, their lives were never in peril anyway, because healthy people were never at a risk from COVID. So that blows everything Bernie Sanders just said out of the water. Everything he's just said. So that's Bill Gates, the world's #1 vaccine pusher, meaning he's the world's #1 drug pusher, which he is. For what? For profit. And I showed you in the other video how he did it. And here's a real doctor, Peter McCullough. He's going to tell you the truth about the COVID vaccine.
When someone signs consent for a vaccine, Senator Blumenthal, does the consent form say it's going to save their lives? Of course it doesn't. It's not on the FAQ. There's never been a prospective, randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial ever showing that COVID-19 vaccines reduce mortality or hospitalization. There's not even a valid non-randomized study. Thankfully, COVID mortality went down for 3 reasons. Because we all got the infection, vaccinated and unvaccinated, so we developed population natural immunity. We developed early treatment. Credit to Operation Warp Speed. We used all the Operation Warp Speed tools, additional drugs. We treated patients with multi-drug protocols at home so they don't go to the ER. So Governor Green never saw the patients we treated because they were successfully treated at home. And the third reason is that the virus mutated to a much milder form. Those things happen concurrently with rollout of the vaccine. The vaccine cannot be falsely credited with saving millions of lives. We can't allow false drug advertising to be put up on a poster behind one of our public servants. We cannot accept that.
So let me quick.
Here's one more. Who's this? Jimmy Dore? Let's listen. So the New York Times is now, again, another conspiracy theory turns out to be 100% true. After relentlessly calling it a conspiracy theory, the New York Times and the CDC now admit authorities overcounted COVID deaths and overhyped the pandemic. About a third of official COVID deaths, or hundreds of thousands of deaths, were not due to COVID. Other CDC data suggests that almost 1/3 of official recent COVID deaths have fallen into this category. Into the category of they didn't actually die from COVID. The CDC is admitting the number is probably an exaggeration. Of course, so they're admitting they overcounted COVID deaths. That's the important thing here. Clinical infectious diseases came to similar conclusions. The similar conclusion that they were overcounting COVID deaths. Whoa! What is this? The New York Times or the latest copy of No Shit magazine? Who could have told you that except podhead comedians drunk and asleep? But now they finally figured it out in end of July 2023 over at the New York Times. I didn't know that during the pandemic, even researchers didn't do their own research. Isn't that something?
I suspected.
Everyone who's listed as a COVID death doesn't mean that that was the cause of the death, but they had COVID at the time of death. I hope that's helpful.
They always run away.
The intent is right now that if someone dies with COVID-19, we are counting that as a COVID-19 death. Can you be sure? I mean, you hear from coroners that that's not necessarily the case. So are you sure? How can you be so confident about that? Is there any concern that it's used?
I missed that where she's like.
Anyway, there you go. You were lied to from start to finish about COVID. Hope you, and shame on you for shaming people who were skeptical and asked questions like you're supposed to. Come see our live shows. We're going to be in.
Scarf neck there. She went on to go, hey, I always thought it was pretty fishy how they did that.
Yes.
She's on people's shows talking about how that was all bullshit now.
Yep.
I want to pull that scarf off. I bet her head would fall off.
Okay. We'll see in Appleton, Rosemont, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Louisville, Fort Wayne, Hermosa Beach, Sacramento, San Francisco. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Bernie Sanders, officially the worst person, as Kerry Thilburn would say, the worst person in the world.
So that clip, I've been looking at that clip forever. There's so many shows. Please send it to me. That's my favorite thing, and I couldn't find it.
You mean the one where they all get off camera as soon as
Yeah,
they...
the cartoon one. Like,
Yeah.
where did that come from? I was dying to find it. I can't find it anywhere.
Somebody tweeted it out. All right. Oh, what, you want to watch it again?
Everyone who's listed as a COVID death doesn't mean that was the cause of the death, but they had COVID at the time of death. I hope that's helpful.
They all.
They always run away.
The intent is right now that
So this was the head of COVID under Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Barbara Bricks, I think is her name. Watch this.
Yeah.
if someone dies with COVID-19, we are counting that as a COVID-19 death.
Can you be sure? I mean, you hear from coroners that that's not necessarily the case. Are you sure? How can you be so confident about that news there and use that excuse?
I missed that where she's like.
Anyway, there you go. There you
after
go.
all this time.
You've been lied to all this time. Come see me on tour in Appleton, Wisconsin, Rosemont, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Louisville, Fort Wayne, Hermosa Beach, Sacramento, San Francisco, Irvine. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.